Well, welcome back. I see most familiar faces. Today we're going to focus our lesson on position play. In the first two lessons, what we did was we looked at how to hit the cue ball when we're aiming. And that's absolutely crucial. We talked about setup and stance and the actual stroke. The setup and stance are the most important aspect of pocket billiards, but once you're able to get correct alignment, then the stroke takes over. But then again, that's only part of the game. That's only half the game. Then you have the whole other aspect of pocket billiards, which involves where the cue ball is going to go for a position. We're going to focus on that in compositions. As usual, I'm going to start every class now with a quote. I decided to make that a habit. And we'll maybe talk about this a little bit. This is anonymous, by the way. The more clearly you visualize and commit to the shot, the more likely you will succeed. Imagination and creativity are a huge part of mastering pocket billiards. Indecision and conflicting thoughts are deal breakers. How many times have you gotten over a shot and really thought, well, maybe it's going to go here, and maybe I might hit it this way, that might do this? In other words, whenever you don't have a clear picture of exactly what you want to do and commit to it, you've got issues with success. Okay? And also along with that, I do want to say that pocket billiards is not just a science, it's also an art. Okay? And by that I mean you've got to be creative. In my previous classes, I focused on the fact that you do the hard work while you're standing above the shot. You know, the fact that you're visualizing exactly what you want to take place. That's crucially important. But it takes a lot of imagination and creativity. I want you to think of the pool table as your canvas, the cue as your brush, and the pool balls as your paint. In other words, let's embrace the artistic side of pocket billiards because I think that's very important as well. All right, let's review what we've learned in the past few lessons, and I know we have a new student or two. But one of the most important things we learned from the first two lessons is the importance of the stop shot. Now, the reason why the stop shot is so important is because it is the method through which you can develop a powerful stroke. And you'll notice before I taught you how to make stop shots from different distances away from the object ball. Now, let's go over setup and stance, alignment and stroke from a short distance stop shot. And I'll try to get it exactly straight. Breathe and relax. Crucial. Visualize the shot. Where's the center of the pocket, the red line? Contact point, aim points, all is the same on a straight-in shot. Once you have the aim point, you can draw that target line all the way back. The chin, the cue, and the right toe are perfectly on that target line. Once I've got everything lined up, I'll just step my left foot towards the aim point and swing down. And this is a crucial point. If things aren't right, if you're aimed one way or the other, you get up and adjust your feet. It's very important. If everything looks good as you get down, you begin your warm-up strokes. These are crucial. These are actually rehearsing the actual shot you want to shoot. Now when you're ready, on that last warm-up stroke, you laser in on the aim point. Draw the cue back slowly. And then this is the crucial point as the transition from the backstroke to the forestroke. You want to release the cue so it accelerates through the cue ball. That's so important. You don't want to jab it, steer it, or hit it. It's more of an actual throwing motion. You see the cue almost slide through my hand because I have such a gentle grip on the cue. And just practicing these stop shots is an incredible drill from different distances because it will develop the stroke that you need to be a good player. Now let me actually shoot it and we'll talk about the feedback. I'll go through the whole series of steps. And this is all on your pool shooting checklist, which I have copies over there that you can look at. Swing down, take my warm-up stroke, center ball. I want the cue ball to skid to the 12 ball. And did you notice I stayed down until I heard the ball hit the back of the pocket? Very important. Okay. Let's try it from a little bit longer distance now. You noticed I hit that one dead center. And this time I've got a longer stop shot, way back to here. Since I have such a long way to go, I think I'm going to hit this one a little bit more below center to make sure the ball stops. To make it stop, the ball has to be skidding when it contacts the 6 ball. So we'll go through our motions here, our checklist. Draw the target line back to the toe, chin, cue, 45 degrees. Swing down, warm-up strokes, everything looks good. Not bad. Stay down till you hear the sound of the ball going in the pocket. And again,
why is that, Pete? Why is that so important to stay down?
Because if you're moving as you're stroking, that's going to throw you off one way or the other. Also, it'll cause the cue to pop up in the air. All causes for misses. Okay? Very important. So just to, I recommend no matter how good you get, I've been playing for, how many years? God, I'm that old. I've been playing for 55 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I still do that drill, where I practice exactly what you saw. Okay? Because if you can make a stop shot from different distances, you can develop a stroke to be a very powerful player. Okay? Good question. But staying down is important. And that's where the feedback phase comes in on your checklist. You want to, when you're shooting or especially practicing, you want feedback in every shot. Did the cue go all the way through? Did it relax on the cloth? Did it end up in the air? Was it to the right or to the left? That's how you become a better pool player. Okay? Here's another drill, and this is new. 6-time world champion Steve Davis practices this 45 minutes every day. And I know Gray spent some time shooting the shot as well. But this is a fantastic practice shot to test your stroke. I'm going to put it on the spot, and we're going to see how accurately I can shoot this cue ball so it comes back to hit my cue. So I'm going to do everything. My aim point, in fact, I'll set the chalk there, is right at that middle diamond. Draw that target line all the way back, toe, chin, cue. Left foot forward, swing down. Take my warm-up strokes. Not bad, but a little off. Not bad, but a little off. This is a tough drill, really tough. Give it one more shot. Perfect. Now, if you can do that, you're doing something. Steve Davis, he does it on a 12-foot table, so that's pretty incredible. Okay. All right, that's something you can work on at your leisure. And I have a lot of material to cover today, so I think I probably will not go through everything, but you'll have this sheet so you can try out some of the drills on your own. But let's actually go to drill number 1. And in this drill, we're going to learn the tangent line. Now that's a geometric term, isn't it? Let's put the 4 ball here. And I'll set the cue ball on the middle reinforcer. Now, first of all, let me define the tangent line. We actually determine the tangent line by determining where the center of the pocket is. We'll use our little coffee stirrer. It's right at the red line. We draw a straight line from the red line to the contact point of the 4. The tangent line is a perfect right angle. So the tangent line is actually a little bit above diamond number 2. And I'll actually put a piece of chalk there to designate it. Now what that means is if I hit a perfect stop shot where the cue ball is skidding when it hits the 4, then I know exactly where that cue ball is going to go every single time. Okay? All right, well, let's try it. And we're not going to do English today. We're going to do English in class number 4. We're going to keep the cue tip on the vertical axis. Follow above center, rolling ball. We're going to do a stop shot. We call it a stun shot, where you hit it right in the middle, and it skids to the 4 ball. And then we're going to do a draw shot where the cue ball is spinning backwards. Now, what I want you to do in your drill is first do a stop shot, just see where it goes. Okay? Use all your fundamentals. Center ball hit, and I'm going to stroke it enough so it stuns toward that diamond. About to the first diamond. Now that will vary a little bit by table. Let me shoot it once more. Center ball, stun shot. Actually, that's probably more accurate. It usually comes about to the second diamond. Now let's try it, and we'll actually change the tangent line this time. This time I'm going to put follow, a high ball, so the cue ball is spinning forward. So instead of going to the tangent line here, it'll start off there and go forward, and probably come fairly near the side pocket about right here. Swing down, do all our good fundamentals. And notice I'm hitting it above center, center ball. Almost scratch, but not quite, okay? But look at the difference already. Follow brings the cue ball here, a rolling ball. Stun brings it down to the second or first diamond. Now let's see what draw does. Now speed will affect this. And I'll explain that later. But let's use a draw stroke here, which should bring the cue ball above the tangent line to hit about right there. Make sure to chalk your cue, especially when you're hitting it high and low. And let's see where the cue ball goes. And it should come anywhere around here or here with the draw stroke. So let's look at the difference. A draw stroke brings the cue ball here, a center ball stun to this area, and a follow here. And the thing I want you to keep in mind is just hitting the ball in the center of the axis, on a vertical axis, you can almost put the cue ball anywhere on the table. So English, which we'll be covering in lesson number 4, we only use when it's absolutely necessary because it creates a lot of problems, okay? All right, let's look at a couple of shape shots. Let's set the 8 ball on the spot here. And here's our first position shot. We're going to have the same shot. Okay, now let me do it the wrong way first and then we'll do it the right way. Let's try center ball stun and see where the cue ball goes. That was the wrong way. Why was that the bad way? Anybody?
That went up too far.
Too much speed, but look at what the cue ball did. It crossed the line. It crossed the 8 ball. In other words, the margin for error was only this big. That's the wrong way to play position. A cardinal rule in playing position in pocket billiards is to play into the line of the next shot. So let's look at the correct way. This time we're going to use a soft draw. I'm going to change that tangent line a little bit to hit here and have the cue ball roll right in behind the 8. Soft draw. Notice how easy that is. I didn't have to hit it hard at all and it went directly. And look at the margin for error. I could have run this far or I could have come this short. And I still have a good shot out of the 8. Let's shoot that one more time. See if I can get it a little bit closer to the 8. And you notice I didn't have to hit that very hard at all. Okay. All right, let's look at a different shot now. This time we're going to practice hitting the tangent line. And we're actually going to use the side pockets instead. And what we're going to do on this shot is we're going to make it a little thinner cut, about a half ball hit. That one was more like a 3/4 ball hit. Now, can anybody tell me where the tangent line is on this particular shot in the side pocket? Okay. All right, we draw the line from the center of the pocket. Here's the contact point. And remember, the tangent line is always a perfect right angle. Okay. So I'll actually put a piece of chalk down here to designate the tangent line. And you'll notice if I have a line from the object ball to here and a line from the contact point to the center of the pocket, that's a perfectly right angle. Okay? Now, the interesting thing about this is it doesn't matter where the cue ball is. It can be here, it can be here, here, anywhere around there. But you know what? The tangent line remains the same on every one of those shots. So that's how you learn to play the cue ball. That's how you learn to play position. Now let's try a stun shot, a stop shot first. And just make sure that it goes to the proper location. So I'm going to hit a center ball, and the cue ball is going to be skidding when it hits the level. And that's pretty darn close. Now, what happens if I hit a follow shot? This time we're going to hit a high ball with the cue ball rolling forward. You'll notice that it'll start out on that tangent line, and the forward roll will take, and it should hit up somewhere around that time. But you can see how this will help you play position, because if you know where the cue ball is going to contact the rail, then it'll enlighten you about how to get position on the next ball. So what I do when I give lessons, privately, is I'll set up one shot like this, and I'll practice throwing the ball in different places on the table and creating different ways to play position by variations of that one tangent line. Okay. So we'll put follow on this one. Rolling ball. And that's about exactly where I expected it to hit about that time. All right, let's change the tangent line in the other direction now. We'll see about where it goes when I put some draw on the 5 ball. And you can probably guess where the cue ball is going to go, can't you? Somewhere around this spot. One thing to keep in mind too, whenever you cut the ball like this, the cue ball actually takes on English. And we'll talk more about that in class number 4. Any questions so far? Everybody understand the tangent line? All right, here's the other shot that's kind of interesting, and then we'll give it a little bit more cut this time. We'll look at more of a quarter ball hit on this one. But when you have a thinner hit like this, you cannot change the tangent line very much, because the cue ball is only contacting a very small part of the object ball. Therefore, it pretty much maintains the tangent line. So if you have a thin cut like this, you can still change it by draw and follow and English, things like that, but you can't change it as much as if you're straighter in on the ball like the first 2 examples. I'll just hit one shot with a high ball, and maybe you can guess where the cue ball will go. It should come pretty close to this time and maybe a little bit to that side. Pretty close. Okay? All right, any questions on drill number 2? Okay. All right, here's the fun part of the class today. I always enjoy teaching combinations because people get so frustrated about missing them. And hopefully today I can give you some pointers on how to make sure you can make a combination next time. Now, the mistake that most people make when they have combinations, and we set up a fairly simple one to start, is that they don't really calculate where the 15 ball needs to hit the 12. In other words, they'll get behind the 12 and just see, well, there's the contact point, I need to hit somewhere around there. Well, you know what? That doesn't cut it. when you're shooting a combination, you do everything in reverse, okay? So we'll use our coffee stirrer. The first thing you do on a combination is determine where the center of the pocket is, okay? From there, you draw a line from the center of the pocket to the contact point, which is right there by the 12 ball. To determine where the 15 hits the 12, we're going to cheat. We're going to use one of my little reinforcers. So I'm going to put that reinforcer a half ball behind the contact point. So guess what we just did? We determined exactly where the 15 ball has to be shot to make the 12 in the corner pocket. Okay? Now we'll set the cue ball anywhere over here, but literally all I have to do is shoot the 15 directly. And you can imagine this reinforcer is like a ghost ball because it would, would absolutely, if it hits that spot, it'll definitely make the 12. So you notice that I did everything in reverse order. Center of the pocket to the aim point on the ball you want to make, to the aim point on the object ball that hits that ball. Now you might have questions on that later, but the key was in how I set that reinforcer down. Because most people miss this shot by hitting this side of the pocket, okay? They don't realize that the 3 ball doesn't go at the contact point, it goes a half ball behind it. That's the key to making combinations. All right, let's look at some frozen ball combinations, and these are fun. But you know what? They're often overlooked in games of 8 ball, 9 ball, straight pool, whatever it is. And it drives me crazy when I see people do this. Let's say you have a dead tombstone that's directly lined up the 15 and the 12. I see people get up and shoot this shot and they think it's impossible to miss, right? Okay? But you know what? It can be missed easily. You notice the 15 and the 12 are perfectly lined to the center of the pocket. But what happens if I hit the right side of the 15? It missed terribly to the left. Okay? Let's set up the same shot. Dead center. What happens if I hit the far left side of the 15 ball? It missed terribly to the right. Okay? When balls are lined up directly to the center of the pocket, you have to hit the first ball pretty straight on to maintain that line. Because what happens if I hit the one side or the other, if I hit the left side, for example, it turns the 15 from left to right, which throws the 12 to the right. And vice versa if I hit the right side. Okay? But the beauty of this is that when they're set up away from the pocket, now we know how to make them, okay? Let's set up the 15 and the 12 so they're directly lined up to the left of the pocket. And you can see that's significantly left of the pocket. If I shoot it straight, I'm going to miss it terribly, aren't I? But which side do I hit the 15 ball to throw the 12 to the right? Left side, exactly. And this is a very easy shot. Almost unmissable. Okay. And even though it wasn't lined up. Okay, and I encourage you to practice these because they come up all the time in games and people, bypass them because they don't understand how it works. Let's try one that's lined up to the right of the pocket. That one's significantly to the right. And they're frozen balls. So to make this one, which side of the 15 ball do I need to hit? The right side, exactly. Right in the center. Now, a couple of things to remember, and this is real important. Speed is crucial. Like that shot that I just shot, if I hit that real hard, it won't throw as much, so I could have missed it. That's why I hit it softer. Another factor is the further away you are from the pocket, the more it will throw. Let me give you an example. This, I've got the 15 and the 12, almost a half a diamond to the left of the pocket. You can kind of see that. Now, believe it or not, the further away I am, the more I can throw that 12 ball. So if it's way over here to the left side, then all I have to do is hit the left side of the ball, and that'll throw the 12 to the right. Dead center of the pocket. And that one was aimed way over here. Okay? All right? All right, let's throw something complicated into the workings here. What happens if you've got a ball in the way? Let's say you're playing a game of 8 ball, and you have this position. The 15 and the 12, again, are aimed to the left of the pocket. Now, in this particular case, the 11 ball takes the place of the cue ball. So all I have to do is hit the 11 ball to this side, which will throw the 12 to the right. Let's see if we can make it. This is a little bit more difficult, but I should be able to do it. Okay? All right? In other words, whenever you have 2 balls that are frozen together, the cue ball is usually the 3rd ball. But you can use other balls. But if you have multiple balls lined up, for example, like this, the ball that would determine the direction of the 11 would be the 3rd ball. Whenever you have a lot of balls in a line like this, it's always the 3rd ball that dictates where that ball will go. Like, for example, this one, in a game of 8 ball, is fairly easy because the 7 ball is on the left side of the 12, which will throw the 11 to the right. This one I've got to hit pretty easy. Did you notice how much it threw to the right? Okay. But let's take a simpler one where you just have 3 balls. This is an interesting one because the 11 ball is really on the wrong side of the 15. Because it's on this side of the 15, it's going to throw the 12 to the left. When in reality, the 12 needs to go to the right. So this one is impossible. There's no way to make this shot. Watch how badly this misses. And that's because the 11 ball was on the right side, which threw it to the left, and it needed to go to the right. Okay? I'm sure you have questions about that, because there's a lot to that. And I'm going to be more than happy to come around and teach you how to make combinations. Okay? But it really is important. And you know what? If you learn these shots, it'll make pool a lot more fun, too. Because you'll be playing a game of 8 ball, and then your opponents can say, well, how did they make that shot? I didn't see that, you know? Okay? All right, combinations. All right, let's do a few game-winning shots, and then we'll get you out playing. Here's one that is really based on what we just learned. A lot of times this happens. Let's say you have stripes, and clearly the 11 and 12 won't go because it's aimed to the left of the pocket. But your cue ball is way over here. So you get up to this shot, and you look at it and say, uh-oh, I can't make that. But you know what? That's a real simple shot. Because one thing that we've just learned is that I have to hit this side of the 11 in order to make the 12. So in this case, all you have to do to make the 12 is do this. I had to go rail first. And that was able to make the ball throw to the right. So there's a lot of little tricks that you can learn on that. All right, the other game-winning shot I want to show you, and we'll do this in relation to 1 and 15 8 ball, because I know everybody plays that here. And let's see, I need 11 and the 15. Let me put these down. This shot comes up all the time. And a lot of times you get in positions like this. In other words, there are 4 balls left on the table. And we're playing 1 and 15. And you know what? I can't make the 11 or the 15 straight on. But if I know what a carom shot is, it's a fairly easy shot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the 11 ball, and I can see where the tangent line is. If I hit it right here, it'll go right into the 15 and knock that into the corner pocket. It's called a carom shot. And you'll notice if I hit it right, the 11 ball will roll down there, and then I can make the 11 and then win the game by making the 8 in the corner. Let's see how we can do on this. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm going to use the tangent line in the 11, which will knock the 15 in. And you notice the 11 went straight down, so I have a nice straight in shot on the 11. Stay down till you hear the ball hit the pocket. And again, always know where the pockets are. That's what you started out at. Swing down, take your warm-up strokes. Okay. Now, carom shots come up all the time. Let me give you some other examples. Like, for example, here, to cut the 5 is literally impossible, isn't it? And let's say there's a stripe in the way down here. Well, this is an example of a more difficult carom, but simply I look at where I need to hit the 3 ball, so it caroms off the 3 and hits the 5 into the corner pocket. So 5 in the corner pocket. Okay. And those are fun to practice. You can set those up all over the table. Here's another example. Sometimes you've got too thin of a cut. Like here, the 11 ball I can bank, but the 12 ball is too thin to cut. So what I'm going to do on this shot is I'm going to carom the 11 ball, cue ball off the 11 ball, and make the 11 in that corner pocket over there. These are fun shots to learn. Okay, missed it. Tough shot. Let's try that one more time. These are fun shots to analyze and learn. Any questions? We covered a lot of stuff, I know, and there's also a lot of other stuff in your handout that you can work on your own. Are you ready to get to your tables and start practicing?
Let's grab a table.
All right, I'll go ahead and break up into partners, and I'll be around.